Peter, you have a 7-year-old son, and you mentioned that one of the two things that government messes up, obviously, is the education system. Are you for a voucher system in public education, public schools?
Yeah, I mean that's again a state's issue, but I think it would be great. I mean, I think that if you look at in general what most cities spend on education, if you look at the cost per pupil, the cost is generally much higher than it is in private schools. And so I think that if individuals were given vouchers to choose a school they want to attend, I think the quality of education would improve and the cost would come down. And ultimately, we could bring down the property taxes or whatever, because it shouldn't cost as much as it does to educate children. I think with all the new economies of scale, with all the new computers and all the technology that we have at our disposal, that should make the concept or the ability to deliver education to children more effective, more efficient, less costly. We should have these benefits, but we don't because of this government bureaucracy, where really the educational system is not run for the benefit of the children, but for the unions or for the educational bureaucracy or the establishment that feeds off that money, that benefits from that money. So if we empower families to shop around, to look for the best quality school, and to look for the lowest cost. I mean, maybe they get a voucher, and if there's something left over, they can put it into a trust fund for their kids' college or something like that, so they don't have to spend the whole voucher. So they can, and I think the parents, some people think, well, they're not going to make the right decision. They're going to cheat their kids, and they're going to just, because they're not going to want to. Well, who cares? I don't like it when the bureaucrats try to pretend that they care more about our children than we do, than our own parents. I would rather have the parents making decisions for the best interest of their children than some bureaucrat that they never met. And of course, the worst thing that you want is those decisions to be made by a bureaucrat in Washington. Right? You always want the decisions to be made as local as possible. So to the extent that the government is involved in education, it should be a local government. It shouldn't be Washington.
And you mentioned teachers' unions. Any feelings on breaking up the power that they exert over in the Congress?
Yeah, I mean, I think it needs to be done. I think if there were vouchers, and if there were more competition in schools, then you'd have more competition for the quality of the teachers. I mean, once you get into a union and you get into a situation where your job is very secure and you don't have to worry about being fired, you don't really have to be on your toes. And when you have the teachers' unions opposing things like merit pay or any kind of initiative that would try to pay a teacher who excels a higher rate than one who doesn't. I mean, once you take away all those rewards, I mean, what's the point of working harder and being better if you're not going to earn any more money than the person who's slacking off? So we have to, again, bring market forces into play in education. And when you have things like labor unions, their job is to try to take away those market forces. They want their membership to know that they can make this money regardless of their performance. And that doesn't benefit the students. It doesn't benefit their parents to know that. And if the schools know, I mean, the schools know that no matter how bad their product is, I mean, they still have their jobs. The kids have to go there. But if they know that you could yank the kid out of that school and put him someplace else, then they have to compete. They have to produce a good product, give your kids good education if they want to keep those students and keep their revenues.
I see our schools and our curriculum changing. American history has been all but erased, and they are teaching the New World Order, with the United States falling behind and becoming a third world country. If elected, what would you propose we might do to get back our founders' beliefs and ideals, and once again have them taught to our children? How would you change the direction that we are headed in?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know as a U.S. Senator, what I'm able to do to influence the curriculum, at local schools. I mean, I was a product of the public schools, and at least I knew when I was reading a lot of that propaganda, even back then, back in the the 70s, that there was so much revisionist history there. I mean, look at how we talk about the Great Depression, how we blame the Depression on the free market, and we say that it was Roosevelt who saved us with the New Deal. I mean, it couldn't be completely wrong, but here we are in a whole mess of trouble now because we don't understand history. We're repeating all the mistakes that caused the Great Depression because we don't understand it. And, hopefully maybe by, being in the U.S. Senate and having a platform that I can speak from, where people might listen, and maybe if I start talking about what the Constitution really means, and speaking in terms of how we really got to where we are as a nation, and how these problems created, maybe if kids are in school and I'm starting to say things that contradict what they're reading in these textbooks, that might go a long way to helping educate them. If they see here's the United States Senator saying something that's the opposite of what I'm reading in my civics book. But, other than that, I don't know that, again, these are local issues. If I was running for the school board, or the governor, there might be a lot that I can do to try to influence the curriculum and the textbooks in the public schools. But as a senator, I don't think there's much I could do.